Hi there, this is Kathy Crow. You caught me, okay? I was trying to get my camera set and wasn't quite ready yet. And I'm going to just kind of click over here and see if I see comments. This thing is always interesting because I never really get my video going on here until, I mean, it doesn't show up for ages and I won't worry about it. I will see eventually. And then also comments, for some reason they show up on my phone, but they don't always show up on that computer, which is what I check to see because I can't see the phone. It's down on, whatever. So I am going to get to the share. The prize drawing for sharing, but I'm going to do that at the end. This is for sharing my videos and stuff last week. Thank you so much. And this is going to work better doing it on Monday. I just don't want to forget. I might. Who knows? And then I also have just some surprising snow. I don't know about you. I know some people over on the west side, incredibly enough, they had snow. Oh, it's really awful out there. It was already windy from early on this morning. The wind was blowing. I knew it was, Jeff said, he always emails me, and he said that it was 29 when he went to work. And I just checked the weather before I got on here, and it was 27. So I guess it hasn't dropped that much, but it feels incredibly cold because that wind is really, really blowing. And then also, and more stuff happened with that, but I'll have time to chat. I actually, I scratched myself this morning like a little baby, scratching myself. And so that's what this mark is. My fingers are healing, but I keep cutting myself with those knives. Anyway, it's just pretty funny that I'm this inept at so many things. At this age, you would think that I could manage a little better, but I don't. There we go. I was thinking, wow, this is not reaching. So I'm going to adjust this and try to get in my workspace and try to also light it up a little bit better. We're going to be using the Sweetest Thing stamp set today, and while I'm checking things around, you can look at all of my notes, my crib notes for myself. I've got a class coming up that I have posted. I've posted it already, I believe, on Facebook, on this Facebook page. And oh, it's really cute. And this card that I'm going to do today is not one that we're going to do in class. I thought it was really cute and I'm going to do it, but the ones that we're doing are even cuter. Oh my goodness, I was just having so much fun. Maybe it's because it's a candy theme. Maybe that's why I'm enjoying it so much. I'm enjoying it more than I expected to. But these are the ones we're actually going to do in our class. There's this one, and there's this one, and this one. Oh, well, this one we might not get to, as no one's being able to get to 4 cards, but I keep thinking surely we can. And this one. So it's sparkly because we're using this Wink of Stella. So this is just a really fun set to play with, and so I've had a great time doing it. The thinlits that cut out all these shapes, there's a thinlet that even cuts out this little circle, and it's the Jar of Sweets thinlets and framelets, or framelets and thinlets, I don't know. But there's this really cool little frame set too, or frame. And I'm not using that on this one. I am on the other cards, but that frame is really sweet. So make sure you comment so I can see if anyone's there. Please share my videos and my cards and workshop information. I really appreciate that. It helps get the word out, and every share is appreciated. I know there was a lot of people that were sharing that I know weren't necessarily card makers, but I still appreciate it because the people you share to, they might know people that like cards and crafts, and so please share. It's all good. So the base that we're starting with this card is the, oh boy, I believe it's lemon lime. Let me look here at my inks. Yes, lemon lime twist. And I cut out some framelits of this earlier, and I'm saving this. We're not actually using it. Just kind of got it in my stash. So I just cut this in half, a piece of 8.5 by 11. Cut it 5.5 inches because I want it to be a landscape oriented card. So now I'm going to score it at 4 1/4, and then I'm going to get this out of the way because I don't think I'll need it again. We'll see, won't we? Sometimes things happen, but I think we're good. Boy, my heater has been just going on on and on and on, and that is good. I'm really glad to hear it. We have gas heat, and now here's a tip. When you score, you're gonna score perfectly, I'm sure, just like I always do, right? Because we always do things perfectly. But whether you do or not, it still never matters. There's always one side. So just flip it over and try the other side, because it probably is gonna line up beautifully. See, it did when I just flipped it over. And I should get my bone folder out. Do you even know what that is? I'm sure you do. Everyone has one, right? I have one. I just never think to use it because it stays in that nice little container, and I never bother to get it out. But look at how lickety, that works really good. So I should keep it out, and then maybe I would use it. But anyway, that heater has just been going on and on and on. We have gas heat, and so sometimes it does not, the sensor, it gets messed up. Oh, I already folded my card, haha. So now we have an extra one. We'll just get that out of the way. Because I actually took this and I embossed this in the Polka Dot Basics embossing folder already this morning, so I wouldn't have to take time to do that. And this is such a cute little embossing folder, result with a candy theme for circles and, that gumdrop kind of thing. I thought that would be cool. And then I took my Wink of Stella, but I did this afterwards and just went over those polka dots. So I'm gonna do that afterwards because I really don't wanna, I don't want to do all of it. I don't want to use up all of my Wink of Stella. Now, I am going to just put some rubber cement on the back of this because I don't want I don't want it to stand up so high that I cannot get it in my envelope. Oh, I see a comment on my phone. I cannot see who you are. Oh, it's my daughter. Yay, Mary Crow. It's nice to see you, Mary. Now I can scroll down. Now I can see who you are. Mary, you are such a wonderful person. Now, since you're not here, I can't embarrass you too much while I go on about how wonderful my daughter is. She is one of the most selfless people I know. Selfless in the sense that she really does love other people and works hard at making them recognize that not only is she loving them because she likes them, which is important, but also because Jesus loves her and wants her to share that love with other people too. So Mary, you are a wonderful example to all of us doing that, and so are the other people that live in your house. They have a if you're ever in Portland, check out at Sitio church. It is a church, but it functions as not only just a church, it's a community where they really practice loving each other. So Portland, Oregon, I know is a place that people sometimes feel more comfortable trying out new things, and so I think that's one reason that is working so well there, is that there are a lot of people there who are recognizing that the traditional ways that we sometimes do things does not really offer the hope that we want to give people. So kudos, Mary, for being so awesome. All right. So, and also Mary does like to do stamps, and I always like people who like to do that. I am going to just pause here for a second to tell people, make sure you register for my Sweetest Thing class. It's coming up February, well, my registration is closing February 18. You must register by then so that I can get all of the things ready for that class, so you have your stuff ready, because there's some really special things I'm going to be making specifically just for you, not just the cards supplies. There will be those card supplies for you to be making, but also I am going to make I'm not even going to tell you what it is. It's really cute. You're going to just love it. It's just a cute little thing, okay, with candy in it, and everything's good with candy in it, although I am not eating that right now. So anyhow, I think I am going to need to get my Stamparatus out to do this. And this will be a good time to show you a Stamparatus technique where you can get nice. Now, I actually used my block and stamped these, but they aren't perfectly spaced. I actually did a fairly decent job, I think, but I think with the Stamparatus we'll do a better job. And now if I don't, then I'll go back to my block, but I think it will work. So anyway, back to my where to register for my class. The classes are February 22 and 23. They're always a Friday, usually the 3rd or 4th Friday of the month. They're always at 10 a.m. on a Friday, 10 a.m. on that very next day, on the Saturday. I have a new website. I'm pretty excited about it, actually. It's on Wix, so that's the long address. It's https, etc. kathycrowscards.wixsite.com/kathycrowscards. Now that website is functional, but it's really not what I want it to be, because as you know, doing a website is a very tedious, long-term project. So I have not got it really ready yet, but it's ready enough, so I can tell you about it. It has glitches, but it's functional, sorta. I don't have any of my new stuff on it right now because I just haven't had time to. I've been setting up all these other things. And then also make sure you sign up for my newsletter, please. I like to send out new little projects and things, and so if you could sign up for my newsletter, that would be great. Now, so for the candy dish, let's look at that stamp really quick. And let me close this. This is smelly stuff. Okay, so let's look here. So the candy comes with lots of options. We're going to do this candy dish right here. And now let me think about this, because I want them to be, I'm going to be able to trim this, but I do want those to be within a certain radius. So I should probably measure it just to see exactly how much space are we talking about here, because I really didn't do that. So let's see, we want it to be within, about 3.5 inches. I don't want it to be too far out of that. So let's figure if we put our center one, it's going to be about here. Okay, so when you are practicing with your Stamparatus, make sure you always practice some first before you stamp on the card piece you really want to stamp on. And you just lay your stamp upside down where you want it, and then you can drop your plate and it'll pick it up right there where you wanted it. I'm going to reposition my magnets. I wasn't sure how much room I was going to have there, so that's why I kind of had them off to the side. But if they're on there better, it'll keep that paper down nicely. And then also, I'm going to turn this so you can see it better. Put just something underneath here to give it support, a stamp, the stamp case, or even that acrylic block that I had that disappeared. There it is. That acrylic block is almost exactly the right height too. The stamp case actually, I think, is perfect. So we're just going to ink up that stamp with my memento. My memento's drying out a tiny bit. But the other great thing about it is, so even though I think I'm not maybe inking quite as much, if I don't like the impression, I'm going to be able to just go right back in there and do it again. But that actually looks quite good. It looks crooked a little. And you know what? I don't like it on this vanilla. I thought the vanilla was going to be just as good as the white, but I'm wrong. I don't like that. So let me grab a piece of white cardstock here really quick, because I just don't like that white, that color. So we're going to just cut a piece of white off and do that again and get rid of that. I don't like that. Okay. When I was out, I was looking at the snow. We have a bunch of bird feeders, and when I heard the cold weather was coming, I yesterday went out and made sure that I got all of the feeders filled. And so we have a lot of birds flying around, and they are pretty cute. It's so cold, you'd think they'd just be, and it's so windy, the wind's blowing them around, but they are determined to get to that seed. It's pretty cute. Okay, now even if it is just a tiny bit crooked there, I am gonna live with that. Okay, so now the other, that still looks, it is white. I don't know, I guess it's these lights. They're probably, let me move my light over. Maybe that'll make it seem a little brighter to me, because right now that's just looking so dingy. There we go. Oops. I don't really want that in the camera. Okay, there we go. Oh, I accidentally got the sparkly paper. I don't know if you can see that, but it's actually quite pretty. Okay, so the other thing that you can do with your Stamparatus is you can, well, let me do this before I move my paper. I don't really want my paper moved. You can take your plate out and you can just move it over, and then it's gonna stamp. I don't want it that close. Let's do it. That's gonna be way too far. This might not work, because it will stamp it like right next to it, but I don't, I don't really want to stamp it right next to it, because it's got that lip. And it looks lower. I don't like that at all. Huh. Okay, so I'm going to completely redo what I just said. And instead of moving that, I am going to just move my paper, because I don't really want to, I don't want it that close. And I think that's going to work better. It will. Unfortunately, though, my paper is sticking out, so I'm going to have to move everything around. Let's do it like this. And so it comes with 2 plates, which is wonderful, because then you can switch things around. And it should be still the same distance from the top, because I think it's going to be the same distance. I'm not 100% sure of that, but I think it's going to be. This is still not going to really, I'm going to have to cut my paper to get it where I want it to be, because I don't want that sticking out, because I'm afraid it's going to mess things up. I actually want it right, I think right, oh my goodness, there we go. I want it right about there. I always make things much more complicated than they need to be. I don't know why, but I do. Anyway, earlier I was watching those birds. I'm so glad I hope he didn't do it a couple of times. I'm so glad I was looking out at exactly the right moment. This squirrel they love to come and fight the bird, that still is not going to be lined up exactly right. I must have shifted my paper a tiny bit, because I think it just needs to be a bit lower than that, doesn't it? I think so. Anyway, a squirrel was up there. You know how they do on the feeders. They're like little kamikazes, hanging with little hind feet onto the branch and then stretching their front legs out to the feeder, and their bodies are all stretched out, and they're trying to get all of that seed. I better put this one up here. Oops. All right, and so he was doing that, and I was watching him, and all of a sudden he fell. I've never seen them actually fall other than, you know, those funny videos you see. It was really humorous. I did enjoy it. And I thought, I hope he didn't hurt himself. I assumed he probably didn't. He's a squirrel, right? But he didn't come right back up. He fell, I don't know, I'm just going to say 3.5 feet. Now I'm going to have to turn this so I can see. Since I'm monkeying with this, I'm sort of not showing you how great this actually works, but I'm also showing you that you can tweak things and make it work better if it's not really. I think that's good. We'll find out. And if this doesn't work, I'm going to flip it over and use my regular block. Anyway, so I was watching, and he did come back up finally, and he was fine, but it was pretty funny. I think that's not perfect, but it's pretty close. I'm going to go ahead and be happy with that, even though it isn't perfect. So the squirrel, when he came up, though, I thought he'd come right back up like he usually does onto the, is actually a lilac, the bird feeder that they like the best because they can get a really good grab of the branch and like I said, stretch themselves over there and eat all of the seed that the birds are wanting instead. But he didn't come up on that lilac. He was down there for a long time, and then it was cold, so I didn't go out there. I figured he was probably all right. He's a squirrel. And then he got up on the fence that's right behind it, and he sat there a long time. I was thinking, wow, you must have hurt yourself, squirrel, because I've never seen you just sit up there in this kind of weather. They usually are eating the seed or running around or getting, you know, inside somewhere. So I'm going to put away my my Stamparatus. So here's the other plate this comes with. I always just keep it in this bag because I never use the other plate. I think in Christmas time I will. I keep my old ratty paper in here because I just keep reusing it, but I actually have a big thick stack. You can get it for $10 and it actually, or $11. It's a very useful thing because my pad was getting really dirty under there. You need that for those clear ones that we just did, those photopolymer stamps. So that is the Stamparatus, and we will put that away. And now I'm ready to stamp the little candy pieces. So you get your choice of your favorite flavors. What is your favorite flavor of candy? I like the shape of these little gummy bears. They're cute. But you get hard candy. I guess that's what they are. But I used the gummy bears and the jelly beans and the assorted, I would say those are probably taffy or nougat kind of candy. They had a more distinctive shape. So the hard candy actually looks like that. And it's pretty too. Or cute or yummy or whatever you think about candy. Some people don't like it. Can you believe that? Poor people. All right, so we will put let's start with I better get a smaller block. Now here's another tip. If you use a big block, it'll work great. It'll work great, but the problem is that you can easily get ink on the side, and although that isn't necessarily that big a deal, with a smaller block, that's less likely to happen. So I'm just going to use this again with black. This is the Jelly Bellies, or the Jelly Beans. Jelly Beans, these are gumdrops. Now, I actually wanted the gumdrops, so let's get the gumdrops out if I can find them. I wonder if I lost them because I don't see. Oh, there they are. They were hiding inside one of the other things. And this Simply Chamois is a new thing that Stampin' Up! Developed or bought or whatever. And it actually works so much better. Doesn't get lint on my, stays moist, doesn't ever get smelly. The ink, even though it looks bad, never comes back up onto your stamp. I mean, hardly ever. I wash it like, I don't know, a couple of times. I mean, I just rinse it under with some soap or something. Make sure if you do put soap on it though, you clean it really good. Rinse it really good to get it all out. You don't want to leave any soap remains in it. It works great. Okay, here's the gumdrops. So I want the one with the little bottom sort of resting against the edge of my dish. So we'll stick it in here like that. Isn't that sweet? And that was it. Okay, so you've just got one little candy dish filled. This is yummy, delicious candy. I can think about it and remember how wonderful it tastes, and it's almost as good as having the real thing. And then I can continue to stay on my diet and not eat this wonderful stuff. Just coloring it and thinking about how it tastes actually is kind of fun in a weird way. Okay, so let's put the little heart on the bottom this time. I hope I'm down low enough. I can't see all that well with my head up here out of the camera. I'd have to stick my head right in there to see very well. And that one's done. And then we will put the little gummy bears on in the last one. And this, actually, the gummy bears is my favorite one. And there's a DSP paper. I forget what it's called. I'm sure it has candy in it or treat in the name. I didn't buy it because it was terribly colorful. I actually like things that aren't quite as colorful, but then as I was looking at stuff, I thought, oh, look at that cute gummy bear paper that's in it. So it does have some really cute patterns, and the colors actually are okay. They're just, I don't know, I guess they just weren't the combinations I liked or something. I did finally order some. I'm sure you'll see some eventually, but for now, I'm just having fun with the stamp set. Okay, so for coloring my little gummy bears. Now, my Stampin' Up! Yellow didn't really quite work. So this is Tombow 055, and I preferred that. So I'm just going to hit some of these yellow pieces, and just to kind of brighten the collection up a bit, put a little yellow down here where there's one behind, and then that's all you're doing with that one. Oh, I better do the jar because you're let's see if you can see this. The jar edges, I didn't want to really color the jar. I did on one of them and it turned out pretty cute. I haven't decided yet which I really prefer. Coloring the jar is pretty. I do like that. But usually these jars come, you know, as one solid color. And in this case, we're going with the inexpensive dollar store variety jar, or one that I would get at Hobby Lobby, which would just be clear. So to just kind of give it some dimension though, I'm just gonna go around those lines and where there would be a little bit of shadow with this. This is Tombow 370, and it will just kind of give you a little depth, just a little depth. Some contrast, so it's just not like one blob of white. And maybe you would like to have a colored dish. You could do, they have, you know, pink or green or lavender, all those pretty pastels. Oh, they come in bright colors too. I mean, you can get jars in anything, I suppose. I haven't gone down to the antique shop in a long time, but they have tons of really cool antique type jars if you're into that sort of thing. all I see anymore when I see that stuff is a lot of dust collecting on things. I have it in a cabinet. I don't want to, I'd like to have it out, but I don't want to be dusting it, so I don't get it out. Okay, I could continue to fool around, but I'm not going to. Now, I did, on one of them, I shadowed it. You know what I'm talking about? I put like a, you know, a shadow effect. I don't even know if that's really necessary. You know, kind of, just let's keep it simple. We're going to just do it like that and keep coloring my little, now I use Bermuda Bay on this one, but I'm going to use the little pointy end. I think that's a little dimmer than I'd like. I'd like this little bit of blue to be bright. So this, if you have an old teal, there's actually not even a gumdrop down there, but I'm adding a little bit of something there. Stampin' Up! Used to have a Taken with Teal. It was a long time ago, and it is more this color. Maybe you have an old one in your stamp supplies. You could get it out. My heat finally went off. I think it's been on all morning. Maybe it's warming up. I doubt it. And then we're going to use this because I don't... Well, actually, I do have a Lemon Lime Twist Stampin' Up! Marker, but I think this one's brighter. I like this one. So we're going to do this one for the green. This is 173. Yes, it's hard for me to get rid of my Tombos. They are not as good as the blending pens for most things, but because this one actually you don't get a lot of lines with, but with most of these you do a little, so in that way they're not quite as good. But I do like some of these colors I can't get in my my blending pens, and then I forgot to get the blending pens out. So let's see, this is Flirty Flamingo because that's what the other color we're using. And I think this orange is, wow, I'm thinking that's a Tombow color. But I know that this pinky red thing is Lovely Lipstick. That's not Lovely Lipstick, though. Let's see here. Lovely Lip, that's red. It looks pink. Light Lovely Lipstick. It actually is a very, very dark pink. Okay, I think those are the only other Tombow color. Where did I put my Tombos? There they are. I need that. I need this orange. I could use something else, but I think I kind of like that orange. It's pretty dark. This is 905. Let's see what this is. See how that looks. That looks pretty good. We only have one. It's not like it's that big a deal. But I'm just staying with what I did. Actually, I think this is not as dark, but that's okay. It's close. And then I can get rid of my other Tombos. We'll stick those in there. And now we can use my Flirty Flamingo. This is probably one of my favorite colors that Stampin' Up! Has now. There was a friend who said she loved that, or she thought that was a good name, Flirty Flamingo. It is a pretty good name. I like it too. Matches this color really well. It's not really a whole completely pink. It's not completely coral. It's darker. It's pretty nice. I think I want the dark one actually. That was the light one, and I'm going to use the little nib at the bottom here so that I don't get too carried away with it. We're going to put two. Yeah, see, this is the dark one. That's the color I wanted. Was dark. And then we'll go around the heart because I want that heart with the lovely lipstick. And just do some of these lines, the edge. And this one, we'll just go ahead and do the whole thing. And then after I was all finished, I took that Wink of Stella and put that on the candy. And you might not be able to see that shine. I can, but you probably can't. But it's like a sugar coating effect. That was what I was going for. I know my candy. You want it to be sugar coated, right? I think my favorite gummy bear would be, if this was a real selection, it would be the Lovely Lipstick one. I think my kids would probably prefer the lime or probably the lime, probably not the lemon. Lemon might not be so good. It'd be too, like if you had a lemon drop, that's always good, but, or yeah, lemon drop, those sour lemon, little hard lemon things, those are pretty tasty. Dark, this is dark, especially when you first put it on. This is the dark lovely lipstick, but it's going to dry, and then as it's drying right now, even you can see your detail line. Make sure you always stamp with Memento if you're using these alcohol-based blending pens. I don't have Stays-On ink, but I do think I've heard that if you use Stays-On with this, it'll smear or run or something, so you don't want to. Now there's lots of dots. I'm not going right on those dots. I just kind of wanted a little something there. Okay. And then also, if you use Stays-On, instead of Memento Black, if you use Stays-On, make sure you buy the Stays-On ink cleaner, because you have to clean that stuff off your stamps. With the Memento, I can just run water on it and take the ink off with it without it damaging my stamps. But the Stays-On actually is more permanent, so it's also something though that you can do a nice permanent. I'm gonna get some because I saw somebody had stamped a really nice image on their on a mug. It was cute. They had to use Stays-On or it would not have stayed, obviously. This is 761, another Tombow one that I left out here. It's a little bit lighter than this Flirty Flamingo, and I could have just used probably the light Flirty Flamingo, but I didn't, so whatever. I thought this was going to be a little bit more of a pink than coral, but it wasn't. So we're going to move that aside. All right, what do we need? The image is finished. So now all I need to do is I need to mount it on this piece of green. I have another piece of green, right? I know I had it. And what did I do with it? Because I had two cardstocks here. We mounted this one's there. Oh, there it is. Good grief. So I didn't need to fold it in half because it's actually going to be this matted piece. So where do I want to put all my things? Let's think about this. We'll put this here, and then we have this here, and you can still see my stuff. And we are going to want to cut this in about the right dimensions. So let's measure it and see what it is. So we've got, this is about 4 1/4. No, that's not right. This is such a fat ruler. Let me get rid of that one because I can't even, it's so fat I can't even tell what it was. It's actually almost 4 1/4. It's a little shy, but 4 1/4 by 3. Okay, so that's what we're doing. Let me get my cutting board out. And we're gonna just trim the edge first so that oh, that's kind of close. And this is going to be shorter, okay? I'm just going to right now tell you I'm making it shorter because I got that so close to that image. This is not going to be the same dimensions, because otherwise it'll look weird. So we're just going to go with it. I don't know what size that is, but that's what the size is going to be. And that's pretty straight. I think when I stamped those on, it wasn't, you know, this one's a tiny bit lower, but it still doesn't really matter. And it's this piece, I thought I was cutting it smaller, but look at that. It's actually a tiny bit bigger, and it's a tiny bit taller too. So we're going to take a little bit more off the top, because I don't want it to be any taller at all. We'll take a little bit off the bottom. Oops, I didn't even take any off the bottom. Let's take a little bit. There, that should be better. Still looking a little big. Wow, that's interesting. I think I see, my jars are just a tiny bit more spread out. That's because I was fooling around with it. I should have just used my stamp block and just stamp, stamp, stamp. Because you can see through those stamps, you don't really need that Stamparatus. The Stamparatus is really handy to have. If you do not have any acrylic blocks and you're thinking about buying them, great, you can do that, because there are many things with that Stamparatus you can't do. But if you're just a casual stamper, just get that Stamparatus. You can stamp everything. You don't need a whole bunch of blocks. Just get that one thing, at least just for starting, okay? Now we're gonna mount this on here. The green I have on this card is actually a little bit darker. I don't know what it is, because it's probably an old retired color that, you know, I just grabbed out of my stash, because I was just kind of experimenting, and then thought, you know what, this design actually might be kind of fun to do for Facebook Live, because it's going to go pretty easy, and I can use my little wink of Stella and show you how nice that accent is on things. Okay, so we will cut this with I shouldn't have put this away. I need it today. Let's cut this out. Try to get it pretty close to what I have already on the sides. I think it's, my cutter is, I think, just, I don't know if it's cutting a little crooked, or maybe that edge wasn't perfectly straight. I don't know. I'm not sure. Looks like maybe my, I think my track is fine, this cutting track. I think my plastic is when I'm pressing down, I think I'm pressing so that this plastic track is coming like this a little bit. So I think that's interesting, because it's not perfectly straight like it should be. And it was perfectly straight when I bought it, so it's not the equipment. Sure is the operator. All right, that is good. And then I don't need to trim anything else. We're gonna just grab out this card. This is I'm just gonna use the dimensionals to stick this right on top. How come I can see all of that so much nicer? I think I should have maybe not put away my pen, because I don't really remember what color I was using, but I want to get a little more detail there, because I actually like that on this one, that I can see that a little better. Oh, I see what I did. I put a little shadow here. And I think I might have put a little shadow right there too. Okay. That's a little better. And then the dimensionals, we'll just stick those on the back. We're almost done. I'm sure it's been much longer than I expected it to be. It always is. That's why it's hard to get all of the things done in my class, excuse me, that I've got ready to do. it always takes longer. And then when I'm talking and working, I generally can continue working. But when we're a bunch of ladies all together, excuse me, a lot of stopping to talk happens, which, I forgot, did I? No, I did. I needed to put, oh dear, I'm gonna have to mount this on a whole nother piece because I actually didn't mount this on a card yet. I'm going to. This one's a little bit bigger, and I needed to cut a bigger piece of white cardstock. So now I'm going to have to do that with this one too, but it's not going to need to be as big because I wanted that ribbon to not show. I don't like having the ribbon showing on the inside. That just sort of bugs me. So we're going to trim this off, and I will mount it on another piece of cardstock. And let's see if that's the right edge. That's pretty close. And then I can tie my bow without having to worry about it because I just want to put this bow. Now this is ribbon that I just found on sale. I get a lot of ribbon around Christmas time. That would be a good time for you to go get a bunch of ribbon. It is always on sale, 50% off, and that's what I do. This ribbon is not available at Stampin' Up. It's pretty close to this Flirty Flamingo color. In fact, I would say it's a really good match. So, and it's glittery. I found it at about the same time that Stampin' Up! Started selling. They're still selling their black glittery ribbon. It's really pretty. This is an organdy ribbon, which means it's transparent. You can see through it. And so it just gives it a much lighter weight. I gotta retie that. That's not... let's try it like this. Sometimes if you have, this ribbon's a little thick. I don't know if it's, what's the dimension for this? I don't think, 3/8 would be bigger. And so I'm not really sure what this dimension is. But anyway, this is the size I really like. But if it's, sometimes it can be a little too heavy of a piece on your cards. The organdy, because it's clear, is easier to manage too, I think, with the bow. I don't know, maybe not, but it seems like I have less trouble with it, and I'm not very good with bows. I've got a lady that's coming to class who's very good with bows. She's a quilter, so she knows her bows. That actually looks pretty good. For me, that's really good. Now, what I'm going to do is slide this, but unfortunately, I'm probably going to knock off a whole lot of my glitter doing that, and I sort of bent my card up too, but it doesn't matter. It's fine. I was experimenting with what I had on hand. Get all that glittery stuff off. And I found these little sequin things, but I didn't really like them. So I'm not going to take them off of that card, but I am just going to use some sparklies. And first, let's get this Wink of Stella on here. Okay, so you're just gonna, this is clear. It says, what does it say? Glossy Clear 999. Wink of Stella. There's 2 Wink of Stellas in the Stampin' Up! Catalog, and one's gold and one's this. So get this clear one. You can add shine to I can add shine to my jars if I want to. Although I did actually get this glitter white paper or cardstock by accident, but it's pretty. I'm happy I got that out. But I'm going to just color the tops of my little polka dots that I did the embossing with. The embossing folder raised up these cool little polka dots, and by just coloring my little Wink of Stella on there, they really pop out and they're shiny. I like usually natural things, but when you're talking about candy, how unnatural is that? It's the most unnatural food out there other than potato chips or some things, right? All the things I love. So we can have glitter because it's candy. If you ever, when you were a kid, you remember when they gave you some delicious looking cake or candy and it had those Peril things, whatever they're called. They're like little sprinkles, but they're horrible tasting. Well, let's hope none of that's in our candy jar. I'm not a fan of that stuff. Okay, so that's that. And now we mount it onto a piece of white cardstock since I sort of blew it. And then I can put those on afterwards. So one other thing I did want to mention to you is that now is the best time to join Stampin' Up! If you like to purchase stamp things and paper, if you do any stamping or any crafts that need glue and like fancy embellishments, although these are not Stampin' Up! Ones, you can get those anywhere. Stampin' Up! Has everything color coordinated really nicely, so that's why I like to use it. And if you like to use it too, you are spending some money, so you should probably just go ahead and join my team. I would love to have you join my team. There's a lot of benefits to being part of my team right now. Stampin' Up! Is offering all kinds of really nice incentives to people for joining. And when you join, because most people do not want to do selling, you can sell and you can actually make some money doing that. You can make it certainly enough easily to pay for your supplies, which is really nice. But you get a 20% discount when you become a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. You can they have regular demonstrators and hobby demonstrators. The benefits are the same. The only reason you're called a hobby demonstrator is because the only difference is that there's no pressure. You're not pressured in any way to sell anything. The idea is to just have fun with it. And that's all I have on my team. We are people who are doing this just for the love of doing it. Not because we're going to make any money on it, really, or because we are, trying to get anything special out of it. It's just for fun. And one of the things I'm starting to do is we are going to get together once a month just to stamp with some of our old retired stamp things too, and also to see what's new and practice using it. It's a little bit hard to tell people about things that you haven't really had the chance to use yourself. And there's so many things in the catalog, you can't possibly buy everything. So gives people a chance to play with stuff that they wouldn't be able to purchase. So you get your starter kit. You can buy the $99 starter kit, or you can buy the $129 one, which comes with this really beautiful bag to hold all your stuff. You can haul your Big Shot, your cutting board, all your paper supplies for 4 classes. I mean, you could put tons of stuff in there and haul it around. Isn't that cute? I'm glad I actually made that accident happen, because I like having the white interior, because I will want to stamp something nice inside and the sentiment. Now, I have some, I cut out already, actually I have them all cut out. I sit at night and do this instead of eating. One of the well-written thinlits that says birthday, and then we're going to use the little happy birthday stamp to stamp just that happy on there, and then we'll have a happy birthday card. There it is. I really like that sucker. It's cute. In my class that I'm doing, I'm going to have these all done for you to assemble your card. I put glitter on them. I stamped them, colored them, and put glitter on them. Oh man, they look really cute. And so I'm gonna just do these all for you, because it was kind of time consuming, and it has to dry, and I'm afraid in a class that's gonna be kind of an iffy thing. So I'm gonna just assemble these little guys. There's a couple cards to use them on, and you're just gonna stick this on so that we can get a bunch of cards done. So you're not taking too much time with just that one little thing. Now this happy is going to have to fit in here. I didn't put it on this one. And actually, I think I left a little bit of space there, but this one's gonna have to squeeze in, and it will. I'll put it right here. Now, my stamp's kind of hanging off, but it's okay because I'm only going to color the happy part. I don't want any ink on the birthday part because I just want to stamp. I should have done that before I mounted it. I don't know what I was thinking. I need that to be able to be stamped on, so we'll see what happens. It's going to be a little bit tricky to do this without getting the birthday. Hopefully I won't get any ink on the birthday. We'll see what happens. Maybe I should test it. I don't think so though. I think I did. I think I got it pretty good there. We'll see what happens. All right, so a little happy right there. Oh, it's off a little bit, but it's still cute. I'm gonna be very happy with that anyhow. Happy, happy, happy. I think that was a, first of all, it was a Ren and Stimpy thing. I don't know if any of you remember Ren and Stimpy. They were pretty funny, I thought. But other than the, where's the duck? Where are the duck guys? Duck something. Oh boy, my mind is going. I should remember that because I thought they were pretty good too. All right, with the birthday. Now we've got happy birthday. And for this, I could use my Tombow and go over. I better do that because that rubber cement is going to be messy and it'll get all over other things. And I don't. Hi, Jewel. Nice to see you. I'm glad you're getting a chance to see this card. I've really been enjoying this stamp set. It's fun. Let me see if my Tombow glue is all messed up. There we go. I thought it was going. I might have to do some surgery on that one. We'll get that one out of there. Try this one instead. Ah, there we go. That's got some glue there. So we'll just put some glue on here and stick it on that ribbon and we'll be all done. So message me if you would like to sign up for my newsletter. I do projects. You get updated. There's just all kinds of information there, and so, oops, that will stick if I can get my finger off of it. It'll stick quite nicely, actually. It's wanting to stick to my hand instead of to the ribbon. There we go. Ooh, I think I got something there. All right, there we go. Better. Okay. And then the other thing, see, I did get just a tiny bit of ink, and when you're using your little sparklies, you can cover those things up. Now, what did I do? Oh, I just put it on the, kind of where there's a space. These aren't actually the colors I want. Those are not the colors that I really want. Let me see though, maybe there are some on there that I can use. These are the really cheapo ones I got somewhere, and so they are a little trickier sometimes to put on. Our Stampin' Up! Ones are really nice. They always stick really well right where you want it. That one's not going to. So you can watch me struggle here a minute. But anyway, just using a few of these is going to be a little bit nicer than trying to use the those, what are they called? They're like little eyelet kind of things. I don't care for them so much. That snow is just still coming down so steadily out there. But I don't see that there's a ton on the ground. I'm so hoping that it melts quickly. I'm not a big snow fan. I do know some people are going to be thrilled though. I don't really like when people have to drive in it. Driving in it is terrifying to me. There was someone who had an accident not too many days ago, and it wasn't even snowing, and I didn't even think it was that icy, but boy, accidents can happen, I guess, even without those conditions, but it's certainly more likely to happen when it's icy. So I'm just sort of putting these on the side. You can easily get too carried away, so when they're this difficult to get off the, oops, I got it into the glue that I had over there. When it's that difficult to get off the card though, you tend to not overuse. Okay. I'm not gonna go too far here because you can get really carried away. But now that I've got it on there, I'm gonna want it on the rest. I am done. I'm gonna finish that and try to get the glue off that I got. I think I got a little bit. No, it feels pretty good. Oh, there it is. Get that glue off. It's so annoying when that happens. I should have just gotten rid of this sheet as soon as I tested by Tombow glue on it, because I should have known that that would happen. Okay, Mary, it is snowing there, but not sticking. Hopefully no problems at the airport. Yes, Mary, I'm praying for you. I'm sure many people are, because yeah, flying out in bad weather is not a good thing. So it's weird that I'm gonna flip us up. It's weird that it's snowing in Portland. That is just really strange. Ooh, I see my hand. Oh, I am here. So anyway, yes, you're welcome, Mary. There, now I can see. I can see far away with my glasses, not close. So anyway, I look pretty awful, but that's okay. Pretty normal. I actually curled my hair a little bit this morning. Isn't that good? So Mary, you have a great time in Portland. Dad and I are praying for you, and because I know God has really good things in store for you and Jose, and we just feel so blessed. Anyway, I hope everyone has a good rest of the week. And I saw in my, Dan, good to see you too. This is a good one for you as well. Look at Jeff's Facebook page, because one of the proverbs I had was really a good one about how you can, how blessed you are when you bless others. So I know you guys appreciate that because you do that. And anyway, I think that's it. Please share. I need all the help I can get. You have a great day. Stay warm and dry. I hope the snow is not, I know it's not in Texas, right? I hope not. And I'll see you, Mary, when we get to, hopefully we'll see you next month. And someday we'll get down to Texas too. That would be good. And good luck on that house. We're praying for you on the sale of that house. And you guys have a great afternoon. Bye.